What it do? It's your boy King Crowder back again with another untold gem about the entire story of the United States. The story not told to us in history books. I'm giving you a complete overview about who contributed to the history. Today's lesson, we're going to focus on the great, the iconic Daniel Hale Williams. Mr. Williams, Dr. Williams, was born in 1856 in Hollidays, Pennsylvania. He was a man born to a family that was formerly enslaved. Mr. Williams' family, he was born to Sarah and Daniel Williams. The couple had several children, and the elder, Mr. Williams, owned his own barbering business, which they inherited, which they worked up to during the Equal Rights Leagues during the era of Reconstruction. So he came from a family that was entrepreneurial spirit, who were formerly enslaved, who worked, earned, and developed the business. Tragically, after the age of 10 years old, Daniel's father passed away. At the age of 10, Daniel was sent to live in Baltimore, Maryland with family friends who were shoemakers, which he became an apprentice in that profession. Dr. Williams, formerly best known as Daniel, did not like it, so he decided to leave his family friends and ultimately go home with his family, his mother, who were living in Illinois at the time. Like his father, he took up barbering. Ultimately, he decided to pursue his love for education. He worked as an apprentice with Dr. Henry Palmer, an accomplished surgeon who then completed and furthered his training at Chicago Medical School. Williams was set up with his own practice on the south side of Chicago that he worked with many black Americans. He taught anatomy at an alma mater and became the first black American physician to work in street rail systems. If you do not realize that at this time, black medical care was completely segregated. Black Americans had to go to black doctors only. The medical field was separated along with everything else in American life. Dr. Dan worked with patients, used sterilization and the positive things to destabilize what he felt what was going on. Many people do not realize that around this time, the medical field was literally in its infancy. Black Americans, especially in the South, if you ever read the book of Medical Apartheid, I would highly recommend you read, spoke about the improprieties and how badly the medical care for black Americans was. It was an ideology going on around this time that blacks did not need anesthesia. They did not need pain. That black women could handle more pain than black women. So literally, surgeons, doctors, and philosophers did not give them the things to cope with it. Dr. Williams knocked down that door and said, due to discrimination by black Americans, there was a barrier where black doctors could help and handle staff. Even though he was qualified, educated, and properly done, he was denied staff positions, which he firmly believed needed to be changed. In the year May 1891, Mr. Williams opened a Providence High School and trained black nurses, which was the first nursing program. He interned, and they had to radically integrate his staff based on how well Mr. Williams performed. He wrote and championed the author Frederick Douglass, who said black Americans must learn to pull themselves up. Don't let people doubt you. Many people do not know that Mr. Williams continued to make history as he operated on James Cornish. James Cornish was a man who was severely stabbed in his chest and was brought to Providence Hospital. Without the benefits of blood transfusion or medical surgical procedures, Mr. Williams successfully performed the first open heart surgery. So let's get this correct. Without the modern medicine, proper tools, Mr. Williams fixed this man's heart. He was the first open heart surgery performed by any American. Did you know that? Dr. Williams was the one that made, created, and done successfully the first open heart surgery. Mr. Cornish survived many years after that. And later on, with Mr. Williams' success, notoriety, he moved to Washington, D.C., where he was performed the chief surgeon of a Freedman hospital in Washington, D.C. He took care for all the black Americans around that time and at that facility. His mortality rate was at an all-time low. He worked diligently on improving surgical procedures, which we follow. He launched his own ambulance service. He provided opportunities for all black Americans in the medical profession. He used both remedies, natural resources, and things that will help people remove their caution. Most people do not know that Dr. Williams was a pioneer that should be championed, how he revamped the medical industry. Mr. Williams left the Freedman Hospital completely overhauling and changing the facility in 1898, where he married his wife and decided to move back to Chicago. He left his imprint, changed it, and built up his staff. Many people don't know that he was part of the St. Louis organization that helped amplify resources. Again, beginning in 1899, Mr. Williams made trips to Nashville, Tennessee, where he became a clinical professor at medical college for more than 2 decades. He began to be a charter member of the American College Association of Surgeons. Sadly, Mr. Williams passed away in 1926. 5 years later, when he had a stroke, he had a stroke in 1926. And 5 years later, that stroke caused him to lose his life in Ida Wells, Michigan. Today, this pioneer, this icon, this champion, changed the medical industry, revolutionized our medicine, how we do surgeries, and very few people know about it. The great Dr. Williams deserves billions, a flag, a movie, and a spectator. Mr. Williams was the first person to correctly perform open heart surgery. The greatest surgeon in history. Who knows? We never know. But let's give Dr. Williams his flowers. The icon, the black American, the openly speaker who trains the image, the likeness on how black Americans who were getting medical procedures were treated. I hope you learned something. I make these videos to educate you and these videos to teach you about the other side of American history. The way to pay me back? Smash the subscribe button. I want to keep bringing you this hot and good content. It's your boy, King Crowder. Checking out. Peace.